am sick of Yankees Red Sox is they were playing this past weekend. They play again this weekend. Yes. And, of course, ESPN ran a sycophantic video package about it's the most amazing thing in sport, blah, 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 blah.
Well, they're right in the middle of it. They're in Connecticut.
I get it, and that's why they do it so much, and that's why I'm tired of it. So if there's a sports rivalry that I'm absolutely sick of, it's Yankees Red Sox. I'm done with it.
Denver and Miami. Their rivalry.
The Nuggets and the Heat?
That one's definitely driving me nuts now after seeing Mike Malone wearing
a rivalry?
You see Malone wearing his T-shirt at the parade that says put that in your pipe and smoke it, and he's got his the championship O'Brien trophy, and he's got a nice full beer for the parade.
Can't burn these Nuggets.
Yeah, Jokic is out there, and he's just like, why are we here? I'm ready to go home.
I don't even have a trophy
to be here. Somebody
lost
stole
the trophy.
my trophy.
I don't even care about it.
I have things to do. Go ahead.
This is the early vote from the 817 Red Sox Yankees when they suck. From another 817, I can do without Yankees Red Sox. From the 469, the Yankees and the Red Sox is so over, it's lame. When was
the last time that one was reasonably important?
2004. I'm sure it was at a point before that.
Because basically what baseball did, I understand what you did there, but basically what baseball said was, man, we have interest here, or ESPN or whoever. They were like, we got to force it. We got to force this thing. So was that just their MO? Is this the only good baseball?
Well, they were, for the 90s and early 2000s, they were the best two teams in the American League. And then they changed the format to make sure that they could somewhat meet in the ALCS.
Yeah.
So then it just became like, well, I mean, these are the best two teams in the American League. They're the most two popular teams. Let's really pump this MFer up.
Yeah.
And to your point, I don't know exactly when it changed. You know when it weirdly changed is when the Red Sox became better than the Yankees. They kept pumping it up, but I think it lost a little bit of interest because it was always like, the Yankees always win, the Red Sox always lose, and then the storyline changed, and it was kind of like, well, this isn't that great anymore. Like, the little brother's beating the big brother way too many times.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I'm guessing that's probably not the direction that you would go.
No, I think it's overhyped in baseball.
Okay.
But which direction would I go? I don't think people are going to like this.
Oh, no.
I'm not like the biggest like UT versus OU deal. And I get it. It happens, right
You're
down
about
the
to
street.
be. You're about to be, Mike, with your daughter going to UT and you having to go to all these UT games.
I still don't think I'm going to. I don't think she's going to go to the games.
Y'all have to. What? Like, it's the college experience, Mike. Why even have a kid in college if you're not going to go to the games?
I think there's so many people that go to UT that don't care about sports.
I can see that. Or they're
Name one.
Oh, my daughter. Yeah.
I don't know, Mike. I think whenever Texas OU rolls around, you're gonna catch a bug, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I kind of want to be part of this whole thing. I get it. It's a hot take but I'm with you. It hasn't been a good game lately.
To me, the much bigger rival, which kind of stinks that it doesn't happen, is Texas and A&M. Now, it's about to happen again.
Oh, Mike. Starting in 2024, it is official. Texas A&M is back on, and this is a no-brainer. They've kept Texas OU. They're going to have a rotating schedule with no more divisions in the SEC. But there are games like Texas and OU, if they just didn't do it.
I'll tell you what.
What are we doing?
I think the Lakers-Celtics thing died, and that was the rivalry in basketball. I don't think there is rivalry in basketball anymore. I think there's important players playing against each other, but I don't think there's
LeBron against the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as team rivalries anymore in the NBA.
Fascinating.
Yeah, we haven't had like
Spurs Mavs.
We really looked forward to Spurs Mavs for a long time because you had
Mavs don't have
talent.
a rival.
You had talent on the Spurs, and right now the Spurs don't have the talent. Next year, Wemby, but it's not going to be a rivalry. That's not the reality of a rivalry with a new guy. Like, he's going to show up. How many times they go back and forth? How many times they get into fights? Kind of, it gets chippy. That's where the real rivalries are.
Man, that is an interesting perspective. Is sure the sports, but what other side thing do you have that
it billows
really
over?
makes this?
Yeah, I think the real rivalries billow over beyond whatever the score is. It's like, did I get one on you too? Did I get my pound of flesh along the process? Because Toronto and the Rangers were a rivalry.
Crawford.
That was a real thing for a short period of time. That was a rivalry because of what had been accomplished. The two were successful and they got there.
From the 817, OU and OSU, I'm done with the hype. Well, good news for you is it seems like there's a pretty good chance that game's going away.
Yeah.
Unless they announce they're going to keep it going, which I
Can they play a friendly?
I don't think it would be called that.
When a college friendly?
Hey, depending on how big the college football playoff gets, maybe you can have friendlies. You're going to have the most ridiculous games if it gets up to like 32 or 64 because Alabama's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll play whoever. It doesn't matter.
So you say the rivalry game could go away.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that
For sure.
if they land in a playoff game against each other, which that's still a reality.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Like if that was to happen, that they would, both sides of that in the state of Oklahoma would ignite that fire very quickly. And whoever's in charge of the production for that's all they're going to be selling is Bedlam.
From the 682, Lakers, Celtics, Bears, Packers, which has actually gotten a lot of votes because from the 469, the Packers always win and the Bears are so sad to watch, which is boring. I've seen boring come up multiple times. And then from another 682, Baltimore and the Steelers. That's one that I think is uber boring because they're like, oh, these teams hate each other so much. Who do you think's going to win 13-10? And so like I get that they're trying to hype it up. I don't always feel like that game is the most meaningful and it's not usually terribly exciting.
What about Live versus PGA? How's that? How are you feeling about that?
I actually really was interested in that. What was the?
Did that really drew your? You weren't
Yes.
watching golf, but you were keeping track of the storylines.
Was it the Open that was before the Masters? Whatever the major was before the Masters. I'm gonna say the Open.
Okay.
Which is just the British Open, but they're like we're too fancy.
Oh yeah. Because the U.S. Open is right now.
Yeah,
right?
I think two of the top three golfers were live golfers, and I was like, "Oh my god, what if one of them wins?" And then in the Masters, they were all over the top of that leaderboard. That I thought that was really intriguing, just because I wanted to see how the PGA was going to handle it, and they handled it by folding like a cheap suit, and they're like, "No, we're not doing that. Don't worry." But I was in on that actually.
What about Conor McGregor versus anybody? Like, are you done with that now?
Conor McGregor versus abiding by the law. Did you just see there's another thing that came out that somebody down in Miami is accusing him of sexual assault?
Oh my gosh.
And like again, accusation does not mean guilt. There have just been so many other things with him, whether it's punching that old man in the face or a variety of other things we probably don't have time to go over. Dude, come on.
Yeah. If you're gonna take that out on somebody, let it be a punching bag instead of another human.
And you know what? It might just suck for him is somebody's always trying to take advantage of him. I don't want to rule out that possibility. I would have a bodyguard with me or a person with me at all times. It's not even like a bodyguard. They're just like my all-time witness. So you never find yourself in a situation with that where they're like, well, let's talk to Ralph.
Yeah.
He was there too. He's always there.
But what about whenever you go to the bedroom, Kevin? And is he going to be in the room with you?
That does create some complications.
You're going to have Ralph? Did you say Ralph?
Yeah.
You're taking Chop with you.
Well, if it was Chop, then no complications. He'd be fine with just sitting in that seat, rocking
Wreck-It
back and
Ralph.
forth. Yes. Yes. And I've also seen a lot of votes, the sports rivalry you're sick of, for Duke and North Carolina. Now,
that doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Okay. It's interesting that you
Coach
say
K's,
man,
Coach K's gone.
Them people in North Carolina, I mean, also.
And Duke could never win.
Yeah, I mean, also you got Roy Williams is gone. Now that's rivalry remains when it comes to North Carolina. Like it matters in that state. I think that the ways in which it matters outside of that state are waning.
Yeah. I mean, except actually, I guess I don't really agree with that because the TV ratings are still incredible for it. And so maybe people do care because they deal with it twice a year and then nobody else cares about college basketball. And so you never have to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I think that's why I think some of this is just college basketball, especially regular season, has just gotten so light.
Sure. And somebody did bring up an interesting point about Duke, North Carolina. Is they're like, it it doesn't interest them as much because of all the one and dones. Like I remember there was a time that I thought Eric Montrose was going to systematically kill every Duke player after they were dropping elbows and stuff like that.
Then he came to the Mavs and turned the team around with Cherokee Parks.
No, he didn't. They didn't do anything here. And so there was a time,
Chris Anstey,
when it felt like there really was player against player friction versus just, I don't like North Carolina because they're North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of this because football's parity, NFL's parity has really created you're just hoping that you get the good team on the schedule. You know, those two good teams on a schedule somewhere. And because, every year it's everybody against the Chiefs right now. Right? And that's kind of the feeling is everybody's just trying to catch the Chiefs. Everybody was trying to catch Tom Brady for a long time. Sure. So I don't think that the real rivalries exist in the NFL at this point. I'm not sick of any of the Cowboys rivalries. They have some decent rivalries.
Is it the Eagles one that you care about the most?
Right now, because they're good. But when we talk about all-time hated teams, I'm like, I don't know.
They're not even close.
Yeah.
From the 214, I hate listening people bicker about MJ and LeBron. So they're like, that's an
Thank you.
individual debate.
Wow.
They're just done with it. And
I'm done with it, too.
Do you ever have a conversation with somebody who's on the other side and they're like, you know what? You're right. You convinced me. When it comes to MJ and LeBron, it could be about a whole lot of things. But does like a LeBron person ever go up to an MJ person, lay out their case, and the MJ person's like, you're right. Michael Jordan's now second, and vice versa. I feel like
I'm changing my mind,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go erase all the tweets I had put out there before.
Yeah.
And I'm replacing them with these tweets.
Can I throw in one more rivalry that I think is overrated?
Koepka versus Deschamps.
No, and I saved it for now because people hate it when I say it, and I just wanted to throw it in as a bomb as we get out. Army-Navy, the game stinks. I don't care about the pomp and circumstance.
Oh my gosh. So I wish you hadn't have said that since we're going to try to go to that game this year as part of the show.
I'm not going to go, so.
But somebody pointed out they didn't like that rivalry because they go, but really, aren't they on the same side? Like, what are we doing here?
Okay, so what you're basically saying, like, we should be more tired of America-Russia, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Or is it Russia-Ukraine right now? America versus China?
Yeah, we're kind of hands off with the Russia situation.
Are you saying just get it over with?
No, I'm not saying that. But
how do you just finish that one up?
I don't want to answer that. But if you're watching the Army-Navy game, I get it. But like, if something bigger broke out, they'd all be on the same team, right?
So you're saying like if Bane walked into the stadium and was like, guys, guess what?
Yeah.
That all those guys would be like, hey, we're not rivalrying anymore.
Exactly.
Now we're together.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not Army, you have to take out Bane.
Yeah.
And Navy, you have to go get the Joker. Like, I feel like you would combine forces in that. But
yeah, but they all rip each other pretty good, man. I got friends that are in all sorts of the forces, and they have a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me.
My brother-in-law is in the Navy. If you go to their house on Army-Navy Day, not only is that like, you better not joke about that, but also the kids, and his kids are all 6 and under. They're all decked out in Navy gear, and there is no time for joking and shenanigans.
They put their house on a boat?
No, not
for the day.
Not like that.
That'd be awesome. They're just like, hey,
cool.
By the way, and they pull a crank, and then all of a sudden there's a moat.
Sure. I 100% want to see that. But to your point, Reggie, I do agree that the level of football is not necessarily captivating.
That's right. I mean, you understand the premise. There's a lot of people getting up in their feelings on there. Like, I understand you played for Army. Fantastic. Thanks for your service. All of these things. The quality of the football game isn't good, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not tuning in for the other parts of it.
You're trying to say you don't enjoy watching 7 passes total in a game?
No, not often, no.
Okay.
They pass it 12 times.
Yeah, maybe for the season.